No matter what, people always have something to say. Claressa is making sure that everyone knows where she stands in the celebrity world. Instead of remaining silent and observing from the sidelines, she has stepped into the center of things and is prepared for whatever comes next. If you have been following this problem, you already know that Remy and Papoose's romance is collapsing. It's a couple they were once admired, but things are getting worse these days. Claressa Shields is treating. The rumors that Remy cheated seriously and her relationship with Papoose is becoming more progressively unsteady. Papoose, who had always been a loyal spouse, made it clear that he would no longer put up with games just when it appeared that he was prepared to go on. She had something to say and began expressing her dissatisfaction with Papoose's new life. She was obviously unhappy, but at first it seemed as though life didn't care. Who cooks better, me or Papoose? He cannot cook anything. She heard her making lighthearted comments about Papoose. Instead of silently, she replied. Supporters took sides, with some saying Remy was to blame for this problem, and others saying Papoose was moving on too quickly. Problem, it becomes evident at the end of the story that Claressa is not afraid of Remy and will not tolerate her. Severe ways. Papoose and Remy were viewed for years as the ideal couple, the kind of love that never ends. They didn't give up when they first realized that Remy might not have been faithful. They recalled how Papoose helped her during her 6 years in prison, taking care of their family and marrying her while she was still inside. Family, most people wouldn't wait 6 months. But she had 6 years. What is given to him in trade? The first big clue that something was wrong was that they hadn't sent him a nice Father's Day greeting. Awkward, didn't even spend 5 seconds wishing him a happy Father's Day, despite the fact that he had raised their daughter, provided for her, and consistently demonstrated his love for her, to let everyone know that their beautiful marriage was coming to an end. Papoose shared a family photo on Instagram without Remy. Final, I remained silent and waited for Remy to elaborate. But his actions spoke louder than words. Swords. Now, that everyone knows, many people think Remy took Papoose for granted since he thought he would always be there. Okay, now that he is finally moving on. She is acting like the victim. Papoose's supporters are supporting him, saying he is deserving of better and blaming Remy for losing a man who was always loyal to her. Whether they began sharing Papoose and Claressa's private texts instead of the situation grew even more chaotic. As they were kept secret, frantic, she believed that by making him seem terrible, she would come across as bitter. It's he who's married. What are we doing if you can't even sleep with me over the phone or just let me know that you arrived home safely? In one of the leaked messages, Claressa told Papoose. Remy thought this would make Papoose look bad, but it actually made her look desperate. She tried to change the facts to give the impression that Papoose was associated with Claressa while they were still together. Vex. Remy claimed to have been on the phone with Claressa when she discovered the texts. But the texts became much more shocking at this point. Claressa did not remain silent after realizing what Remy was trying to accomplish. Instead, she accused Remy of cheating first, not once, but multiple times. Sin times. As the one who was acting dishonestly the entire time, she made it clear that Remy shouldn't pretend to be the victim. Instead of accepting responsibility for her mistakes, she is attempting to paint Papoose as the villain. Aveline spoke up, and Papoose, who is usually a private person who dislikes posting about his troubles online, decided to correct the record. He recorded that Remy was unwilling to accept his long-standing request for a divorce. Since she couldn't keep quiet this time, she might have just made things worse for herself, and as a result, the internet is now closely watching this situation. After months of silence, is now making everything public. And many people are interested in the real nature of his relationship with Remy. The truth is that he is done with Remy and has been trying to file for divorce. But she won't sign the necessary documents, so they're wondering why Remy won't let him leave. On in-leave, Papoose even claimed that Remy Ma is a narcissist who has cheated on him repeatedly. And she's playing the victim now that he's moved on. She won't act like an adult in this situation. My situation. I didn't want to go public, but I've had enough. Message, it's a message that Remy had been acting as though Papoose had abruptly left her. But in fact, Papoose had made it clear that he was trying to formally end their relationship, and Remy was the one who ended it. This isn't even new. Last year, there were rumors that she was getting too close to battle rapper Easy, the block captain, so this isn't new either. She started a new relationship, but the more people looked into it, the more evident it became. It makes sense if Papoose knew what was happening and was already attempting to get a divorce. He is divorced, has been courteous and respectful, never sought attention online, and remained silent even when the rumors about Remy began. This is what really drew people to him. He battled him, supported her career, took care of their daughter, and remained faithful. Papoose, faithful. Given how secretive he is, it must have gotten so bad that he felt compelled to speak up. He tried to handle things discreetly, as evidenced by his note, but Remy continued his games. And many fans feel sorry for him because they saw him in a situation where she was trying to harm his reputation. Her reputation talks about honesty and loyalty in relationships, but it seems that she has since left her own counsel. Despite being seen as an honest person, Remy hasn't really addressed any of this or made a clear statement refuting Papoose's claims. Instead, she is acting as though she was hurt, which is making things worse for her because she isn't providing any evidence to support her claims. If she had any hard evidence that Papoose was lying, her accusations would have been clear by now, but instead she is attempting to change the subject and avoid the issue. Papoose was thinking about their family and trying to be considerate. He probably hoped they could resolve their differences in private, but he was forced to speak out because she would not cooperate. This might have helped if Remy had just acted like an adult instead of trying to play the victim, especially now that all of their private problems are in the spotlight and their daughter will be affected. People buy her, and the longer she posts, the worse it seems to be for her. People are upset about Papoose's current partner and his decision to move on, but that isn't the main issue. Instead, the real issue is why Remy is making such an effort to maintain a relationship with someone she claims is unhealthy for her. And why is she reluctant to sign the divorce papers if she really thinks Papoose is the bad guy? Many people are perplexed. Some think she isn't struggling to accept the consequences of her own actions, but she is. Looking back, he is clearly stating that he is done with the relationship and ready to move on. Supporters believe that he deserves better. People are cheering him on, leaving supportive comments on his social media pages. Some have even called this his freedom era, saying that he can now live his life without being bound by a poisonous relationship. Remy's relationship is rapidly changing. She was once praised for her strength and confidence, but now many people are criticizing her for not accepting responsibility, believing that the incident shows that she betrayed Papoose instead of respecting his loyalty and assuming there would be no consequences. The harm is now that the truth is out, but the internet never forgets, and her previous claims of loyalty are backfiring. The best course of action for her at this point would be to accept responsibility and move on. But the way things are going, it appears that Papoose has made it clear that he does not want to make amends, so the divorce is final. Until the inevitable. Details will be viewed and discussed online. The internet as a whole teaches us that no matter how hard someone tries to hide the truth, it always comes out. Even Papoose, who caused the scandal and kept his private life off social media for years, could not remain silent indefinitely. It's a sin. When someone like him, who has always kept to himself, finally speaks up, it's clear that he is ready for his life because he is no longer defending Remy's reputation. He is obviously waiting and hoping, and now that he is no longer defending it, Remy is hoping. By this, she is beginning to fear and accept that Papoose is no longer with him. Now that they are no longer by his side, many people have a different perspective on Remy. She failed against Terry Remy. Her attempt to damage Papoose's reputation has only made herself look worse. People are acting like they know whether Papoose and Remy love each other. They love each other. The story, which was once considered one of the strongest in hip-hop, is finally over after they battled through loyalty and betrayal. Despite the fact that Rose has obviously moved on, Remy doesn't seem to be ready to let go because Papoose has already made up his mind and Remy doesn't care about the consequences of her actions. There are no go actions once he makes up his mind. The drama is in the fact that this time, however, things are different, and he is not different. Easy. The Block Catback, a battle rapper who has been associated with Remy, finally made his voice heard. Easy now asserts that she was suspicious and had begun to piece things together long before the internet even started talking about it. So he was aware of it the entire time and wasn't caught off guard. Then, to everyone's surprise, Easy revealed that Papoose had been surreptitiously listening in on Remy's discussions in order to confirm his suspicions. The whispers, rumors, and little hints all pointed to the same conclusion. There was more to his relationship with Remy than business. As others had been speculating for months, it was no longer expected. The difficult split was now about trust, treachery, and how far someone would go to get the truth. Easy claims that surprise. Easy was watching Remy for a few months. He was doing his own things and making sure he had trustworthy evidence before acting, instead of just listening to hearsay from others. He even installed another device in Remy's car so he could surreptitiously listen in on her private discussions. Truth was given to him by some for his intelligence and for waiting for proof before accusing him, while others thought that spying on his wife and recording her conversations was excessive and that he should have simply left. If he was that suspicious rather than surreptitiously gathering information, many, however, pointed out that there would have been suspicion, and people would have questioned his intentions if he had the moose isn't going back. Easy went on to provide back Easymation, proving that he had known something was wrong long before it was made public. He claimed that although he never confronted him directly, his actions began to change. At first, he thought it was just typical business. Drama rappers are known for their arguments and misunderstandings, but now that he has unquestionably gathered evidence, he is free to move forward without hesitation. When he stepped back, he noticed that Papoose had been watching him closely, waiting for the right opportunity to catch Remy in the act. He was profoundly affected by this realization because it was something much deeper than a simple argument or misunderstanding. Miscommunications showed that Papoose had been recording her conversations and placing devices in Remy's car. If he had gone that far, it would mean that he had been suspicious for a long time. How long had this been true? For a while. The main question now was whether Remy had been betrayed for years or whether this was a recent development. Fans' opinions varied. He said Papoose was right to defend himself in the entertainment industry, where reputation is everything, as it could be extremely damaging to gather evidence of his behavior. Rem for years. He had always stood by her for years, protected her, and sacrificed for her in order to maintain their bond. Others, on the other hand, said that spying on his wife, regardless of her actions, was excessive. Maintained that excess. The ship is already finished if trust is violated to that degree. Staying together is a point of degree. You have to listen in on private talks and follow someone around. People's perceptions abroad also shifted. Now she was perceived as shifted as someone who had taken that dedication for granted, rather than as a strong, independent woman with a loyal spouse. The internet did not help, and many started searching for proof that this had been going on all along by looking at old interviews, song lyrics, and historical occasions. Supporters noted those occasions. Despite Roos's constant claims of loyalty to Remy, including throughout her incarceration, she was unable to maintain her loyalty. People started to question the captain's role in all of this as the situation when he finally spoke out. There were questions about whether he was adding to the already tense situation, if he was more involved in acknowledging, or if he was just caught in the middle. Since he was now linked to one of the biggest controversies in hip-hop, some thought he was doing it to get publicity. while others said he was doing it to clear his name and prove he wasn't the one who started everything. From his point of view, everything had already happened. And Remy was the only one who remained attached to him, but she didn't seem to be able to comprehend that it was truly over. Perhaps she didn't realize how much she had hurt him, but it was obvious that he had already made up his mind, and once he did, it couldn't be changed. It's a story of loyalty, betrayal, and heartbreak involving Papoose, Remy Ma, and Claressa Shields. If you've been following along, you know it's more than just a breakup. While Remy Ma has to deal with the consequences of her behavior, Papoose, who was once praised as the epitome of a faithful spouse, is currently going through the painful end of a relationship he dedicated years to. The drama has only gotten worse since Claressa took center stage. But which side is the stage? If you share our passion for this story, please enjoy this video. Click the History subscribe button. I'll leave a comment below with your thoughts. Do you think that the opinions between Papoose and Remy Ma are truly over? Or is reconciliation still going on? Keep checking back for more juicy updates, behind-the-scenes information, and all the drama straight from the most talked about love triangle in hip-hop. Key, Remy Ma still deserves an opportunity to present her case. What about Claressa? Did she have the right to confront the dishonesty and stand her ground?